Hey everyone, it's John here from CNS Outdoors. Today we're going to go after some largemouth and smallmouth bass. We're going to show you what I like to look for and what I use for when the fish are spawning. Stick around, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. Thanks so much for watching, and if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. We sure appreciate it. Now let's get on with the show. What you want to look for when you're looking for spawning fish is rocks, weeds, wood, something that they can back up to with a good hard bottom like sand. That's what I look for. Hopefully you can see the weeds. This has got a lot of coontail and hydrilla in here. Bass really like to be in areas like that. So we're gonna see if we can put a couple of fish in here for you. When I'm searching these spots, I like to keep moving if I can, and I like using a swim jig, buzz bait, some kind of a topwater, or a fluke when I'm looking at these places. Yeah, little guy missed it. And then if I see a bed, then I'll change a little slower presentation, or if I know there's a bunch of beds. An old saying that says bass and beavers go together. Oh, look at that. I don't think I wanted that guy. Whew. That was a dogfish. There. Not particularly fond of them. Already lost one swim jig to a big northern, so there's a fish on. Feels like a good one. Definitely is a good one. Yep. Right off the beaver hut. This guy's got a nasty leech on him. Looks like it's a female, but spawning, you can see the red on its tail. Put her back so she can spawn. Do their thing. Well, there you go, there's one down. What I like to look for is these bays that are protected from the north wind. Right now we got a south wind going, but they generally like to spawn in these bays that are protected, like I say, by a north wind. Sorry about that. So when they're backed up into these pockets of weeds, you got to look for the openings. Where the openings are is where they're going to be. They need their eggs available to sunshine, and So you look for these open pockets. They want to back up where they feel like they can guard their nest, whether it's that beaver hut there, the rocks, the weeds. That's what they feel best with. I can already see we're going to get hit, and I missed it. Son of a gun. Son of a gun. But there's fish over here because they're swirling. Fish on. Here we go. Nice fish. Came out of one of those little pockets. So they're not always against the shore. That's a male right there. That fish came out of one of these little pockets that they got to be cast into because they like to be out here too. Not just up against the bank. So the first one that I'm going to use is a tube. This happens to be on a Tidal Shot jig, but a tube is going to replicate a crayfish or a small bait fish, which spawning bass, those are the #1 enemies to them, #1 and 2. In this case, it's a Tidal Shot jig, 1/4 ounce, that I put that on, and it's pretty much weedless. Now if I'm around rock and get out there, if I'm around the rocks, I'll usually use that exposed totally with a jig head on the inside of the tube. Next bait, now this one is a Senko, and I think a Senko is probably one of the most deadliest baits out there to catch a fish. It's really something. This one I've got rigged up on a drop shot here because it really does a number on them. The other thing about a drop shot is you can put this in its bed and leave it sit there and just jiggle it until that fish gets a little bit upset, and then it wants to kill it. So when I'm trying to find them, I use a swim jig quite a bit. I use an 1/8 ounce and a 1/4 ounce. I don't go any heavier, especially when I'm fishing around the weeds. You got to have that light bait so it'll go up over the top and through the different types of weeds. So as far as the search bait goes, I don't think you can beat this trying to find bass. And the last bait I want to use is going to be a topwater. In this case, it's a popper. I like to throw to the open pockets. When they're on their beds and they're protecting, if you leave it on top of them above that fry, usually up through the bottom comes the fish, and it will explode on that topwater. I use both a popper, I use a older bait called a Devil's Horse, and in the sparse weeds, I'll use a buzz bait. We changed it up, and now we're going to go to another bank that's got some gravel and sand, and usually you catch them out here on the drop. So we'll see what happens. There we go. There we go. Well, I spit my tube out right away. Well, a largemouth. Huh. And catch them here too spawning. But not what I expected. Not at least right here. But little male. Hook back up. Using a 3.5 inch tube here. We've had a lot of tournaments lately out of La Crosse area, and I just find that when there's a lot of pressure, which there has been an awful lot, going down to those small tubes really makes a huge difference. Good fish, good fish. There we go. So I saw nice fish here. Nice smallmouth. This is what we've been looking for. Whoa! Right on the corner of the mouth. So we're gonna walk back to the edge. Dandy smallmouth. And there you go. Nice 3.5, 3-pound smallmouth. Once in a while you'll see them, they'll swirl up on top. They're pushing away some kind of a something that they don't like, and it's a dead giveaway. And that one I did see it, and let's see if we can find another one. There we go. There's a fish. Just a matter of time, I guess. Male largemouth. Got him on the drop shot rig. Better get the old pliers out for this. Well, the reason I'm using a drop shot rig is I like to have that bait up in their face, and usually if they're on a nest they're gonna smoke this thing, but you gotta find them first, and you gotta be able to work this thing. Got to be able to work this thing through the bed too. But if there's too much, you won't be able to. Too much brush. That's the only time I don't like to do it, is when there's a lot of brush. What I'm fishing here is a small little pocket just off the main channel. Fish will spawn off of these as long as there's very low current. So there we go. Got him. It's another small male. About a 13, 14-inch male. Well, the majority of the spawn is over with now, but there's still a few fish out there. Again, what we wanted to look at was these bays that protect it from the north wind. That's what you want to look for. Something that's got a hard bottom, usually sand, with a mix of rock, weeds, stumps. Those are the things you want to be looking for. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. Tight lines and shoot straight, everyone.